One place that I reuse code in the program is when I am inserting into the saved, which is a new table that I had created to show current and old patient review pairings. So from a doctor or a nurse, when they send all their information to the insert saved. So instead of having two functions, one for doctor, one for nurse, I have the int doct and the int nurse. If it is a doctor, the int doct will be 1, and for nurse, it's going to be 0. And if you have a nurse, the int doct is going to be 0, and the int doc is going to be 1, or the int nurse is going to be 1. So this is one place that I use LinkQ to do an insert into the database, where the doctor review and the nurse review goes into one function instead of having two. Some of the other places that I use um, reusable code is in the validation. One thing that I didn't realize what I was doing when I started out building each validation was I'm checking. This is not a good coding practice where I'm checking for null. What I should have done is taken all the check for empty strings on all of my verification validation functions and had a function that just checks for a null or empty string being passed in. The checklist from either a doctor or a nurse, uh, instead of having two functions, I just have one. So a doctor can be passed in a list and check to see how many is actually in it. So if the count is less than or equal to 1 for a nurse or a doctor for the review, it's going to pop up with a message because you can't have one doctor review themselves or one nurse review themselves. So it's going to pop up with a message and it's going to not create a list and save it to the database because there's nothing to create because there's only one doctor or one nurse. Another place that I use